Hello, this is Tony Davis, and I'm joined today by Caroline White, the Deputy CEO of St Michaels Hospice, and Lude Wardle, the Income Generation Director from the hospice. Good afternoon to you both.
Good
Afternoon,
afternoon,
Tony.
Tony.
Um, I, we're here today to talk about the work of the hospice and your fundraising efforts, and I think it's a very important service that you offer within the town and within the district, isn't it?
Yes, it really is. It's a really crucial part of our community, in fact.
I mean, I think most people think of the hospice as end of life palliative care, but it's so much more than that, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right, Tony. And I think there's lots of people that do think that people come into the hospice just when they are ending their life.
Mm.
But we actually look after people for a much longer period than that. And some of our seen in our wellbeing team where we sort of provide some more holistic and sort of therapeutic support. So we could have patients that are with us for a long, long time, and some patients may come into our inpatient unit and have some time in the inpatient unit and then go back home again. So it could be that they come in for some symptom control. And may spend a couple of weeks with us and then go home, and then may have to come back into the hospice at some point in the future. So it's definitely not hospices are definitely not a place where people just come to spend their last days. We give lots of care in the inpatient unit, but a lot of our work actually is now done in the community. So we have a community team that goes out into people's homes or into other care settings to provide that care for them if that's where people choose that they want to have their palliative care. So there's a whole range of services that we offer that really is trying to meet the needs of people in our community across Hastings and Rother.
So quite a lot of your work then is based on working away from the hospice and in other sort of locations, either people's homes or care homes or that sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely. That's, a large proportion of our work now is done in the community. And we do have our nurses and our specialists going out and even our doctors going out to people in their own homes, or like you say, it could be into a care home. That's where most of our work will be done in terms of numbers of patients that we would see.
I don't know the answer to this, but I'm assuming that it's not just about the patient either. It's about the family and the extended carers that are there for these people. Is that right?
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. And I think we look at the patient more sort of holistically in terms of what is one of the things that we say is not what's the matter with you, but actually what matters to you. And I think that includes people wanting their family and their relatives and their loved ones to also be looked after on that journey when somebody is receiving palliative care treatment and at the end of life. So, and one of the things that we do is offer bereavement support for not just for those people actually that have a connection with the hospice in terms of having a relative die with us, but anybody in Hastings and Rother can have bereavement services through the hospice. And that's something that's quite unique about our hospice because you don't have to have had a previous connection with us to request that service.
Okay, so that's interesting. So you're effectively an on-call service for the community for not just
Definite,
not just
definitely, yeah.
yeah.
It's
Okay.
it's open to anybody in the community, and that's what we're here for, really. We're really well supported by the community, and what we're trying to do is make sure that we are providing the community with what they need. And not everybody can afford to have, to pay for private bereavement
Sure.
counselling, and it's one of the areas where I think we support 470 people we supported last year through our bereavement services, which is quite significant. Um, and the demand is there in our community. So, we
But
want to keep doing that.
and all of this work obviously costs money. Everything in life has a price ticket on it, doesn't it? So um, I'm I know that you're a charity, so I guess this question's going to be squarely in Lou's court, really, about how does your fundraising work, Lou?
Yeah, so fundraising is a huge part of our charity work, because it costs £8.7 million for us to operate as a charity each year, and many people don't realise that all of the services that we deliver, whether it's care, clinical, bereavement, all of those services are delivered completely free of charge to those who need us across our community, which, as you rightly say, costs a huge amount of money, and we receive very little in the way of government funding. We receive a small amount, comparatively small amount, from the government through NHS grants, but we still need to raise £6.3 million every year
Wow.
ourselves. To continue to operate. So, as you can imagine, there is a huge reliance on fundraising efforts, and that's across our fundraising and our retail teams. So there are lots of ways in which our community supports us currently, from shopping in the shops to donating their unwanted goods, through to playing the lottery. It costs just £1 a week, and they can win some fantastic cash prizes. But all of that really helps us to continue to deliver those services. And of course, we've got things like our events that come up each year. We're about to start our open garden season, launching this weekend at the hospice. And that raises significant sums, alongside other events that people probably have maybe even heard of and been to. Our Moonlight Walk, this year it's going to have a big glow up, and we're going to be back bigger and better than ever before. And those events that people can come along and enjoy and take part in, as well as being such a great way for the community to come together and do something fun, they really are a vital part of our fundraising efforts. So we're very grateful to our community and everybody that comes along and supports us in any way they can.
That's a huge amount of money to raise a year, which means that, it's a it's an everyday job, isn't it? You need people to be donating in one way or another every day of the year, really.
Mm, it really is, and hopefully, one of the things that we really want to be able to do is provide a way for people to be able to give, no matter what your budget might be. So, as I say, you can play the lottery for as little as £1 a week, or it might be that you really can't give anything at the moment, but you might consider leaving us a gift in your will, for example. So something that would cost nothing in your lifetime, but even a small amount, 1% of an estate, for example, can actually make a huge difference, to the hospice. And we receive, thankfully, a lovely amount of legacy income each year, but it is reliant on those people remembering the hospice when you write your will, and leaving us a gift of some sort.
This is possibly a question back to Caroline now. Although a lot of your work does go out in the community, how many beds are you actually sort of servicing, for want of a better word, within the hospice itself?
So we have 11 beds currently. So we can take up to 11 patients at any given time. And most of the time those beds are now occupied. So but again, it's most of the work is done in the community, but those 11 beds are there for those people that really do want to come in to the hospice to have the care. Like I say, it could be for symptom control, but it could also be that that's the place that they would prefer to have the end of their life with the
Mm.
support of their sort of family around them. So it's the facilities are there, and we work with our teams work with those patients and families to sort of look at what is the best for each individual person, what's their preference and what matters to them.
So, as far as our listeners are concerned, then, can you give us briefly now an email address or a website address where they can go to get involved? I put you on the spot there, haven't I?
No, I can. We could do that. So it's www.stmichaelshospice.com is what I'm going to say.
Excellent. And is there a telephone number as well?
The telephone number is a Hastings number, and it's 445177. And
Okay.
we have a staff reception team, and that's also staffed by volunteers. So that's operated 7 days a week, because obviously we are a 24/7 hour service, so they should be able to contact or come in at the weekends and see what support they can offer, or give us a call on the phone.
And can you tell us, Lou, where people can go to donate things for the shops and where they can go to visit the shops and buy, which is the important thing?
Yes, absolutely. So we have shops in Hastings, Bexhill, Rye. In fact, if you go to the website that Caroline's just provided the address for, all of our shops are listed there, and they are open Monday to Saturday. And so most of them, well, all of them will take donations very happily. We also have a donation station. A donation centre, which is on, is it Queensway, the road, Caroline?
It is Queensway, yeah.
Queensway, yeah. I always get that road confused, but there's a big donation centre there which you can drop donations off to. The most important thing I would say to your listeners in terms of donating items is please remember to gift aid if you can. Gift aid is essentially free money that we can claim from the government. It costs nothing to the donor of those items. If you're a UK taxpayer and you add gift aid to your donations, we can claim 20% more on the sale value of those donated items, and that makes a significant difference to us. So please, if you're bringing any items in to donate, please, if you can, remember to add gift aid to that.
Oh, okay, fine. Didn't know you could do that when you donated, so that's good. I knew you could if you donated cash, but not if you donated, articles. So that's
Yes,
a really
absolutely.
useful thing to remember.
Yes, most definitely. Yeah.
Well, ladies, thank you so much for coming in and talking to us about the work of St Michael's Hospice. You do tremendous work for the community, and I hope that our listeners will be able to get behind you and add their ever more support to you in your work at the hospice. Thank you for
Lovely.
joining me.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you,
Thank you to
Tony.
your listeners as well. Thank you.